Bushnell. Performance is the only thing. Federal Premium Ammunition, surgical precision, terminal results. Savage Arms. Better come standard.
Hi folks, thanks for joining us this week on Bushnell's Trigger Effect. We are in the South Island of New Zealand and we are going after Pitt Island rams.
That's right, we're sitting in the beautiful Ribbonwood Station Lodge. And you know, one of the things that I want to state about these Pitt Island rams, Kent, is they're actually an ancient bloodline of sheep. I mean, they really don't know how they got to Pitt Island, and so for us to be able to target this, man, it's a real treat, and I'm pretty excited to get up into that steep country and chase them.
You bet. I mean, Eric's got a whole bunch here and I can't wait to get going, so let's quit talking and let's get out there after these sheep.
Well, we're heading up onto the top of the mountain to a viewpoint. We just came across a good group of rams. So we're gonna sneak up here, see if we can get above them. Maybe I'll get a shot at a ram here in New Zealand. But a couple of them were real twisters, beautiful looking.
Don't see them there.
Yeah, I don't see them at all.
No. Just going to look over this other side over the ridge here.
Over here? Okay. Wow. Well, that was probably the most awkward shooting position I've ever been in. That's way down there, holy smokes.
That's easy to cover. We'll shoot down and we'll try and gather it up.
Okay.
And I'll send a couple of young fit
The young guys.
Yeah. And might be able to haul it out down the bottom there.
Okay.
We try and haul everything out if we can.
Yeah. Okay, so we just start working our way down then?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see if we can grab one of these young fellas. Go and grab them.
It's very steep. I'm not sure if the camera can show exactly how steep it is, but it is almost straight down. So we're going to pick our way down through the rock and get my hands on this big ram, but it's slow and steady and safe, that's for sure. Well, we're into the last few hours of light and we're still working our way down, but
yeah, I'll just to let you know, the young ladies
right down here in the bottom of this, that was the last place that we saw the ram roll into, so we haven't laid eyes on it. We know it's down for sure, but right now we're just trying to get close. That's incredible. We are in this incredibly tight little gully here. Shot him at the top and he rolled all the way down. What an incredible experience. And I mean, these things are tough to live in this country that they do. I mean, it took 5 of us, probably what, 20 minutes to work down here?
Half an hour to come down.
They cover it in 2 minutes. But anyways, before we lose light, we got to get this guy off the mountain and back to the lodge. But you know, Eric did it again, Ribbonwood. What an incredible adventure. I mean, look at this. Look at how he lays out. Incredible experience.
This segment is brought to you by Westside Stores, your outdoor sports authority, and Safari Club International Canada, first for hunters.
We had a chance between Kent's and my ram hunt to go do a little pest management at one of the local sheep farms. Wallaby were introduced to New Zealand from Australia and quickly became overpopulated due to an absence of predators. We did some quick glassing and then drove up into a small draw and proceeded the rest of the way on foot. Well, since I had shot 2 wallaby, it was Kent's turn up to bat to see if he could knock down a few.
There's rams everywhere. There's a big ram down here hazing a young ram away from a ewe that's probably in cycle. There's sheep, there's game everywhere up here.
You know, Kent, even though we're targeting Pitt Island rams, the reality is a lot of the animals that are synonymous with New Zealand, such as the red stag, fallow deer, are actually an introduced species.
Yeah, I mean, the entire New Zealand hunting industry pretty much revolves around introduced species. I think that's a great topic for Conservation Connection.
I agree.
So an introduced, or what's often called an exotic species, is one that is not from the area that it was either intentionally or unintentionally brought into. And this is contrasting with a native species or an endemic species, which is one that is naturally occurring in that habitat.
Prior to the introduction of various species here in New Zealand in the late 1800s and early 1900s, they were known as the bird islands. This is due to the fact that they had no large big game species or predators besides humans.
So there's pros to introduced or exotic species, and they range from food, if you're eating that animal, fodder for livestock, if it's a plant, something to graze. Lots of these species are pretty to look at, and so there's some aesthetic appeal there. And then in some locations, New Zealand being a great example, we have species that were brought in to remind the people there of home. So this is a naturalized species that comes from somewhere else and is intentionally established to tie that location back to the home place. So New Zealand big game animals are a great example of this.
Originally, over 144 species of birds were introduced, with only 33 species remaining today. In addition to that, 32 mammal species were also introduced that are accepted as the local fauna here in New Zealand. That makes New Zealand truly islands of introduced species.
Obviously, the cons of the introduction is the potential for that species to go past being an introduced exotic and into a category of organism we call an invasive species. And the invasive species is one that increases past the original location we had intended to establish it into, or in an island habitat where you can't go any further into the ocean once you hit the end of land, you increase in numbers that are beyond the carrying capacity of that ecosystem.
Initially, the New Zealand government was looking at having their country become predator-free. However, a new long-term objective has been established now to return it back to only birds. This is being met with heavy opposition by the locals, as they have grown up with these animals and learned to love them and also look at them as an incredibly valued resource. As an international hunting community, we need to throw our support behind the locals to make sure New Zealand stays the way it is, beautiful.
And so that's the potential pros and the potential cons of an introduced or exotic species.
Well, it's another beautiful afternoon here in New Zealand on the South Island. We're going to be heading up. We're going to be looking for some Pitt Island rams. We've seen a bunch. We've made a few stalks. They haven't turned out, but we're going to try and find a real good twister for this evening and maybe wrap this up for another great day here with Ribbonwood. These guys, they know what they're doing, so I'm pretty confident we're going to find some. Well, we've made it up in elevation. I wasn't dressed for this. The sun was out when we were down lower, so I'm gonna have to put a coat on, but we're gonna get working on our glasses here and see if we can't find some sheep and maybe make a plan for this evening and try and get us a big Pitt Island ram. Well, we've got some, got lots of game around. We've got rams, we've got red deer, some stags in amongst them. So we're just gonna try and figure out which one we want to go after. We've got some rams down below us here, but we haven't got a good look at them yet. Well, we've just come over the ridge here and glassing out in a really nice basin with lots of draws in it, and the rams are just popping out all over the place. We've got red deer, we've got rams. They're moving up to us, down to us. It's pretty cool. It's one thing you take a quick look and you don't see anything, and you sit down for 5 minutes and there's just game everywhere here. It's unbelievable. Well, the guys have formulated a plan. We've seen some sheep, but there's a particular one that they're looking for. These nice big wide rams. So what we're going to do is we're going to swing around a mountaintop here and get some looks in some other valleys, and hopefully he's down there chasing some ewes or butting heads with other rams. But they're putting their packs on, so it looks like we might be in for a good hike. As we worked our way out to a point on the ridge, it didn't take us long to put our Bushnell binos onto another group of sheep. Well, we've worked our way along this ridge. We're up above a bunch of sheep right now. There's a ram that's laying down facing away from us. We can't really get a great look at him from here. Paul and Eric are sussing it out right now. He might be the one that we're hoping to find. He's a real wide one, but we gotta take another look. Well, in this group of rams that we've spotted over here, there's one finally came out of some heavy grass, and it looks like he's got almost another half curl on him. He comes down around and an extra twist. So we're probably gonna make a move here. We're gonna move down, maybe side hill a little bit, and see if we can't get him within a couple hundred yards of him, maybe get a shot.
That gets us in 250.
Yeah, we'll probably get in around 250 yards. What a lot of people don't see about a TV show is for every animal we encounter, we have to ensure there is 2 clean shots. One for the hunter and the second for the cameraman. However, Dean and I have hunted together for years, and it didn't take us long to get a game plan together and move in for a crack at this amazing Pitt Island warrior. Dean and I found the best way to protect our hunting legacy is become a member of a great organization like SCI International. They protect your rights at home and places abroad like New Zealand.
This segment is brought to you by Gold Tip. Start tough, stay true. Taxidermy services provided by Hunters Union and Ray Wiens Taxidermy. And thanks to these other fine sponsors. Both Dean and I would like to throw out a huge thank you to Ribbonwood Station and owner Eric Bennett. Ribbonwood Station is located on the South Island of New Zealand amongst some of the most beautiful country New Zealand has to offer. The density and quality of game on Ribbonwood's property was incredible. The diversity of game include red deer, fallow deer, Himalayan tahr, chamois, wallaby, and of course the Pitt Island rams. The lodge is second to none, and the food was amazing. We also wanted to say thanks to our guides, Tom, Paul, and Skippy, who worked tirelessly on our behalf. For more information on Ribbonwood Station, go to our Outfitter page on Bushnell's Trigger Effect website.
Just wait for him to stop, he'll stop. You like giving them a sporting chance, don't you?
I sure do. Well, that second shot sure connected. I mean, that was kind of tricky. Again, shooting downhill.
Awkward angle to get comfortable.
Angle. And I mean, he was facing me. I wanted to make sure that I had a good broadside shot on that first one. I'm not sure. I think I might have shot a little over him on that first shot. But that second shot sure anchored him. So we rolled a little bit and I got myself a Pitt Island ram. Real beauty. He's got some real twist to him. That's awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Well done, well done.
Well, gun's empty and safe. I gotta put hands on this guy. Holy.
He's been a scrapper. Look at the brakes and the
Yeah, he's got some
off.
chunks missing. Look at that ram. Well, Eric, I want to thank you again.
Nah.
Your Pitt Island sheep that you've got here on Ribbonwood Station are amazing animals to hunt. I mean, this is just an old warrior ram. He's got scars on his face. He's got a big chunk missing out of him. But those curls are unbelievable. I couldn't be happier. Beautiful color. He's gonna make a great mount. Some good tucker.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a great night. This is fantastic. Ribbonwood Station. You gotta hunt with this guy. These hills are full of game.
Yeah.
Red stag, sheep, everything. We saw tahr earlier today.
You don't think there's anything there and you sit down for a half an hour and next minute animals pop up, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
You
we
know?
were sitting there glassing earlier. The whole valley looked like it was empty, and then here's some sheep, there's some sheep, here's some more sheep.
And deer on the other side.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We better get our photos taken care of, get this all wrapped up.
Yep.
Thanks, my friend.
Nah, well done.
As I was hiking out, it gave me time to reflect on the whole experience of hunting Pitt Island rams. It reminded me of my younger years guiding stone sheep in northern British Columbia. Now I can add New Zealand to my sheep hunting memories.
Well, Kent, I'll tell you, that was an adventure. Those Pitt Island rams are, they live in some incredibly steep habitat. They're very elusive. Even though it looks like they're out there, just to get to them is incredibly difficult. And I know I was very excited to get my ram, just that big, huge twist, those laid out lamb tips. Man, that was a cool adventure.
Yeah, they remind me a lot of the North American wild sheep.
Yes.
They're very, very elusive trophy. Even though they're introduced, it's no walk in the park. They live in some wild country. And you did get a great ram. I got an old warrior. He's got chunks missing out of him, scars all over his face, kind of looks a little bit like me. But no, that's a lot of fun, and I think everybody should try and hunt those animals. They are so much fun, and they're a big challenge. We want to thank Eric at Ribbonwood here for putting on such a great hunt. We also want to thank you, the viewers, for tuning in, and especially our sponsors that make all this happen. So join us next week for more Bushnell's Trigger Effect.